Alrighty. Well, welcome everyone. It's nice of you to join us. I am Christy Mahon of Escape Artist Holidays, Dream Vacations, and I am so happy you're here. And I am extra happy about our destination tonight. We're going to the Far East with Viking Ocean, and I am welcoming Shannon Tiger to tonight's show, a past presenter, and I'm very happy to have her back with us. Thank you for being here, Shannon.
You're welcome.
Like I said, tonight we are going to the Far East and we are featuring Japan. There are several itineraries that Viking Ocean has that we'll be touching on a little bit tonight, but we are going to kick off with this particular itinerary, the Far East Horizons. It's got a really great, rich itinerary filled with just the magnificence and beauty that is this part of the world. You know, I think we in the West think of Eastern cultures with this mystique, and they certainly have them from our point of view. So I'm excited to give us an opportunity to dive a little deeper, learn a bit more. So I hope you are ready to engage your wanderlust. One of the things I mentioned last week, and I'll make mention of it again tonight, is that we've all been kind of stuck in four walls, dreaming of getting out of them, whether it's going, somewhere local or getting far, far away. And I want you to just give yourself permission to dream up that next vacation you want to go on. Don't assume that what you may think keeps you from going will still be keeping you from going. So don't let your expectations of I couldn't possibly, it's too far, it's too expensive, it's I don't know the language. Don't let those things kind of stifle your ability to dream up your next vacation. If you're ready to think about it, it means we should talk about it. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Shannon to go ahead and share her screen. And while she's doing that, I'll remind you guys to make notes or comments in the chat box, and I'll keep my eye on it and raise those questions as they come in. Please stick around till the end, and I'll give you guys some information about our offer tonight and what else is going on. So without any more from me, Shannon, take it away.
Okay, great. Thanks, Christy. Thanks for having me again. I was looking back at our presentations that we've done in the past, and they've all been really focused on river. And so it's terrific to be able to talk to your clients about Viking Ocean because it's a really unique ocean experience. And so I'm really thrilled to be here today and also to be talking about this amazing part of our world. As you had mentioned, that mystique that certainly is very much true about Asia. And Asia typically tends to be, those real bucket list itineraries, the ones that folks hold on to, and they know that when they go, they're going to go for a long period of time because, of course, it takes some time to get there. And they're really going to immerse themselves and embrace that part of the world. So, an interesting story is my in-laws, they are big time cruisers. They love the idea of packing and unpacking ones and seeing multiple countries at one time. And they, actually Asia is like their next bucket list destination. So they've been all over the Med, they've been to Scandinavia, they've done, all of that part of the world, and they keep harassing me. They've even done Australia and New Zealand, and like my father-in-law, this is all he talks about is like when we're gonna, sit down and discuss, Vikings Asia experiences. So you are all blessed today to be able to be going through most, I guess, popular itinerary, which is our Far Eastern Horizons itinerary. So we're going to go through a day by day of that, but I'm also going to showcase to you so many other ways to travel this part of the world. And if you haven't been up to date on Viking, we have some new experiences that are coming in 2022, which would be the Viking Mississippi, which is already sold out. So if you are thinking about the Mississippi River, please contact Christy about 2023. We also have the Great Lakes and Viking expeditions coming. So Antarctica and Arctic. So I'm thinking that if you're on this presentation and you're listening to Asia, that you probably have that adventurous spirit. And so think about Viking as a cruise line that is traveling more waters than any other cruise line. So we have rivers, oceans, expeditions, and Mississippi all coming and will be at your fingertips in 2022. So I wanted to share with you all some quick updates about what's trending around the world of Viking. And we did just discuss some of those new itineraries and products that we're introducing in 2022. But moreover, I really thought it was a good time and very appropriate time to talk about what's happening in general in the world of travel. And especially in our world at Viking, which is essentially all of you that have been kind of held up in, as Christy puts it, your four walls for the last year. Can't believe it's been over a year with this pandemic. Have a pent up demand to travel, right? So your wanderlust is like through the roof right now. So what we're seeing trending at Viking is we're seeing our Vikings, our guests, Christy's clients, taking more trips in 1 year. So we're seeing multiple cruises being booked per year. We're seeing what we call back-to-back or combo cruises, and I'll share with you a little bit about that. Trending. We're seeing longer experiences. So maybe, say, for instance, on river, somebody would only go to do the Rhine, right? Now we're seeing them doing our Grand European Tour, which is our 15-day river journey that takes you on the Rhine and the Danube. So I'm trying to give you some kind of insight as to really what's happening and how our inventory is just really just, I guess, flying off the shelves would be the way to describe it. So it's so important for you all to not hesitate to book any of your travel plans, whether that's Viking or someone else, because there will not be space. I can guarantee you that. We're predicting a sellout. I think I'm not allowed to say it on camera, but we're predicting a sellout far in advance. So please think about that. Also know we have a new ship on the Mekong for 2021. We have 2 new ships coming on the Nile. We have our Seine class ships sailing right out of the heart and center of Paris. So you can walk right off the vessel and be right there in this city center. We have a lot of new pre and post extensions that we've been developing in this past year. And we have all of our ocean, river, Mississippi expedition on sale through 2023. So even if you're thinking about 2022 or 2023, it's a great time to actually put your $500 deposit down and be able to take advantage of our risk-free guarantee.
I'm glad
We
you
actually changed this policy.
This is what makes this a buyer's market. This is really,
yes,
really to your advantage right now.
It's really true. And we actually just changed this policy slightly. Now you can change your cruise up to 14 days prior to departure. It is a transferable future cruise voucher that you get as well, but it's an amazing risk-free program, peace of mind program that we put in place. And for us here at Viking, we allow you to take advantage of this throughout all of 22 and 2023 sailings. So that's pretty unique, and I would really encourage you to look into this because this program will continue to change and eventually go away as we're seeing major inventory shortages. So today, as I had talked about, we are going to talk about our Viking Ocean product, and I am thrilled to always mention really what makes us unique in this small ship cruising environment. And one takeaway that I want you to be aware of, other than the fact that I have to brag a little on this slide here, that we again won Travel and Leisure's World's Best Ocean Cruise Line, which is a coveted award that we keep winning since we actually got onto the oceans in 2015. Yes. And the reason why, we continue to win this award is because we're a really unique ocean product. Torstein Hagen, our CEO and founder, actually worked for the Royal Norwegian Cruise Line, and he has so much ocean cruising experience. And so while he started river cruising and really introduced river cruising to North America, when he started the ocean cruising product in 2015, what he wanted to do is really make sure that that product was very unique in the space. So a few takeaways for you up front would be the fact that it's small ship ocean cruising, so under 1,000 passengers. This is trending big time in 2021, late 2021, and moving forward. A lot of folks are looking at small ship cruise lines. But you have to realize, because we're a small ship cruise line, we're not everything to everyone. So a few things that are real fun to share with you on who we're not. I have a what we're not list in a minute coming up on a slide. But moreover, what I really want you to know about Viking is that primarily we're sailing with all North Americans on board, some from the UK, some passengers from the UK, and some passengers from Australia. So likely on an itinerary like this, you'll meet a lot of folks from Australia, and of course a lot of your which will become your newfound friends from North America. So we're an English speaking cruise line, if you will. All of our announcements are made in English, and all of our travelers are very well traveled. They're really interested in traveling for the experience of the destination. So the ship, it's beautiful. It is the most understated, elegant, luxurious ship that I have ever been on. But at the same time, you'll see that we don't have those things that a larger ship cruise line have. So everything that we do on Viking is really centered around the destination, making sure you're in port for as long as we can keep you in port, and really making sure that we have so many opportunities for you to explore on shore with us. So we call them shore excursions, and we have included shore excursions in your fare, as well as all these additional optional excursions. And the itinerary we're talking about tonight has so many. We would be online for 24 hours if I took you through all of them. So Christy will help you
Yes.
sort through really what, hit your passion points and so forth. But really, to give you a good idea of what it feels like on board Viking, and we're going to actually take a look at the ship at the end of the presentation. Some couple real quick notes. You'll never find a casino on board any Viking experience. Ocean river expedition. We don't allow children under the age of 18. We do not have anything like water slides or race car tracks. There's none of that happening on board us. We like to say we don't have umbrella drinks. Really, we have sophisticated, lovely spirits for you. But really, we are really centered around it being a very comfortable, casual experience. We don't have formal nights. We don't have butlers. We have exceptional, luxurious service, but you're not going to see the photographer chasing you around. We're not going to be having art auctions, yet our ship actually is an art museum where you can download an app and you will actually learn all about the authentic art that surrounds the walls of the ship. We also are very inclusive, so we don't charge for a lot of things that other premium lines say would charge for. We don't charge for specialty restaurants. We don't charge for Wi-Fi. We include wine, beer, and soft drinks at your meals. We also have the use of laundrettes that you can use that we do not charge for on our ocean vessels. We don't have any inside staterooms. The lowest category stateroom is a veranda stateroom. So to give you an idea, like when you're going to the spa, there's no spa sales pressure, right? There's, a wonderful spa treatment that you'll receive. And we really don't believe in that whole like high pressure, high sales, looking for at the end of your cruise, you're going to have this laundry list of a stateroom that of expenses. That's not what we're about. We actually include one shore excursion for every port of call. I also wanted to just quickly touch on what we're doing here regarding health and safety. So for any of you online that, maybe you're contemplating the vaccination, maybe you haven't gotten the vaccination yet, I want you to know that we're leading the industry in terms of our health and safety program. And really the takeaway on this one is that we are doing daily testing. We've actually converted all of our ships to have a laboratory on board where we're able to do saliva PCR-based testing for COVID-19. So really not getting too deep into it. Of course, we're going to be sanitizing our ships like there's no tomorrow. We have robots that we have now on board that are sanitizing the ships. Our ships always had their own individual air systems into the stateroom, so we never had an issue of sharing air. We've increased all of our filtration systems. We have UVC lightings to kill any viruses. But really, that key takeaway for you with Viking is that we're doing daily testing. So, really, the idea for you when you're traveling is you want to make sure that if you're in a space where possibly someone is positive, that you're aware of that person sooner than later. And that's where that daily testing comes in, and that's how we know we'll be able to control the spread if there was someone who was tested positive with COVID-19. We have so many health and safety protocols in place. It can all be found on our website. We have a very beautiful section of our website that details all of this. But no, we're a cruise line that actually has even upgraded all of our medical equipment to ICU equipment, added additional medical staff, have quarantine quarters. I mean, anything and everything you could possibly think of, on top of the fact that we've fitted our ships to have a laboratory for daily testing of crew and passengers. We're really, our intention is to keep everybody safe on board. So I just thought it would be good to just kind of get some of that stuff out of the way, talk about that elephant in the room, COVID-19, and really make you feel comfortable in traveling with Viking. Now, again, I have to stress that we have very limited inventory. So if any of this looks appealing to you, it is not something that you want to wait on. We are going to talk in depth today about our Far Eastern Horizons itinerary, which is Tokyo to Hong Kong or Hong Kong to Tokyo. You can go either direction, okay? And you'll be cruising the East China Sea. It's a 15-day Asia itinerary with 9 guided tours that are included, and we travel through 3 different countries. So it's really exciting, this itinerary. And if you really are looking for checking off Asia and, checking off Japan, especially off of your bucket list, this is by far the best itinerary out there. And we're on sale for 2021, 2022, and 2023. So that's the map and how you'd be cruising, but this is your day by day. So you'll see we spend a lot of time in Japan on this itinerary, but we end in Hong Kong, China. And at the end of our day by day that we go through here together, I'm going to show you ways that you can do combination cruises and add to this experience. If you're traveling that far, why not, right? So we're going to show you some really fantastic options that you can even then add on other experiences to this cruise, taking you, say, for instance, to Bali, right? So let's dig deep. Let's start talking about this amazing trip that really, when you think about Asia and when you think about Japan, what are you thinking about, right? You're thinking about temples. You're thinking about beautiful, serene gardens, right? Japanese gardens, right? You're thinking about also these bustling cities like Tokyo and here also in Hong Kong. So you're really getting such a wonderful experience of learning about this part of our world, and a lot of history, obviously, with Hiroshima included as well. So I can't wait to take you through this day by day. What we're going to do is we're going to actually start our itinerary in Hong Kong. And I want you to just take a quick brief look at this photo. We have a few more that I'm going to show you of Hong Kong. But I mean, this is it, right, folks? This is what you're seeing. When I talk about a bustling city, this is a bustling city with a lot of energy. And so this is where you're going to start. Now, when you look at our map, if you ever see a white circle on any of our maps on any of our itineraries, that means you have an overnight. So here you'll be spending day 1 and day 2 here in Hong Kong. So I'm going to take myself quickly off camera here, and we're going to actually go through this really fantastic 14-day experience. Now, we always include 1 shore excursion for every port of call. Now, in Hong Kong, a lot of times in a lot of these larger cities, what we do is we include what we call like a panoramic city tour. The one that's included here in Hong Kong is called Postcards of Hong Kong, and it's about a 5 hour tour. That's what will be included. And of course, you're going to see all of those highlights. And we want to make sure you don't miss anything. So you'll meet a local Viking tour guide, which I love is because you get all of those local experiences. So all of the tours are guided by a local Viking tour guide. So you get to get their personal take on the city. And then, of course, you're going to get to make sure you're not missing a single thing here. But what we'll do is we'll make sure that you ascend to the Victoria Peak. That is basically where you go up an 1,800-foot summit that literally soars over the city's skyscrapers, and you'll be getting a view of Victoria Harbor, of something sort of what like we're looking at here, which is absolutely just stunning. Can you imagine the photo opportunities that you'll be able to have there? But you'll also have the opportunity while you're in Hong Kong to like really get that feeling of like, oh my God, I am in this amazing city here in China. And look at all the hustle and bustle. So we'll give you the opportunity to make sure that you have some time to enjoy Stanley Market. That's basically rows and rows of open air stalls that sell like clothing and jewelry and ornaments. Great timing to pick up some of those presents that you want to take home to your family and friends. And we'll also make sure that you, really get to see that architecture, right? So you've got this ancient architecture that meets modern architecture here in Hong Kong. And we'll also make sure that you get the opportunity to do one of the traditional cruises through the harbor's floating village, where there's basically like hundreds of people that live on fishing junks. And then there's all the high-rise community, right, that has risen on the island. So again, that ancient kind of the traditions of the Hong Kong to this now high-rise community. Now, when you're in any of these cities that you're in Asia, you're going to want to make sure that not only you do that included tour with us, which is the Postcards of Hong Kong, which we kind of went through, just going through all those, main sites of Hong Kong, but also getting out of the city and really experiencing the traditions. We have a couple, not a couple, there's, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 different optional tours that you can take because you'll have the additional time here. But I wanted to highlight a few, which is the Bamboo Monastery and Walled Village. This is a 5 hour tour. And it's a really terrific way for you to experience Hong Kong's Buddhist heritage, right? We take you to a monastery and then we take you to this walled village and a market. So you're going outside of the city now, kind of getting that ancient history, right? So we'll travel by motor coach to the monastery. You'll get that really amazing glimpse of that traditional Chinese architecture at the monastery. And it's located in like a bamboo grove setting. It got one of the largest Buddhist statues in it in Hong Kong. So you'll have the opportunity to see all of that. And then we're going to take you to an ancient ancestral village, which is part of the Tang clan. So you'll learn all about the clan and its ancestors and all of the history there that all basically took place in the 13th century. So again, going from Hong Kong, main city, bustling, thriving environment out to this fantastic monastery. Highly recommend this tour, and then we'll also take you to the basically what they call wet markets, where they sell fresh seafood and poultry and fruits and vegetables, and it's quite an experience. There's also the island experience of Lantau. This is, if you go on YouTube, or Christy will tell you all about this. This is a big one. A lot of people take this. This tour is about 7 hours long, and it takes you out to this area, this mountainous area island of Lantau. It's the third largest island in Hong Kong, and it's linked to the mainland by the world's longest two-deck suspension bridge. So you actually get out to the island by boarding a sky rail, which is like about a 25-minute cable car ride. So imagine, some people think it's frightening, some people think it's fascinating, but the views of going on this cable car ride out to Lantau. And then there's, when you get there, there's this amazing monastery and all these trails. It's like a picturesque Buddhist retreat. So you'll tour the monastery and then you can tour all the trails. Lots of people love it. It's not rigorous, but you do have to make sure that you have some oomph in you, some pep in your step, if you will. And then we'll take you to a fishing village where really you'll see, how that again, that old Hong Kong, right, with the charming fishing boats, the stilt houses, the canals, the racks with the fish drying on them. So it's kind of like what it feels like, a little mini Venice. So we try to really give you this great experience, island experience. It's very popular. Now, if you're a foodie lover, we always want to make sure that you've got your dim sum, right? That's my thing. I really love all of my Asian food. I feel like I could eat sushi every single day of my life. But this is a real fun itinerary where we do an optional tour, another option for you while you're in Hong Kong, where you can learn about Tai Chi, and you can also learn all about a dim sum breakfast. So you'll actually learn about Tai Chi. Some of my friends' kids actually take this up as a sport, but there's like a master who will come and greet you, and they'll guide you through that experience and how graceful it is and that ancient martial art. And then you'll actually, after you do this morning exercise, you'll head to a local restaurant to experience some traditional dim sum breakfast, which is dumplings, buns, pastries filled with meat and vegetables. So it's kind of like a fun foodie tour. So just wanted to highlight a few of those while you're there in Hong Kong. But as I had mentioned earlier, there's so many temples and monasteries and different types of opportunities for you to experience Hong Kong. Now, we start cruising the East China Sea, so you'll have a sea day next. You actually have 2 sea days on this itinerary. And when we get to the ship, I'll share with you what happens when we're on board. But I have to tell you, the ship is absolutely stunning and so just elegant. And you'll see that. I'm actually sharing my backdrop earlier when I was on camera is of our winter garden where we serve our high tea. So I'll share with you the ship when we kind of move through this presentation and we get to that part of it. Now, next up, after we're cruising the East China Sea, we land in Taipei. So we're now going to Taiwan, which is fantastic. Now we always, again, remember, include a tour. So we have a Taipei in brief tour, again, a city tour. So it's a fascinating capital. It's on the island's north shore. And it's got like a blend of Chinese, Japanese, and Western influences here in Taipei. So we will make sure that you see all of those breathtaking moments, right, of history and progress on our 4-hour city tour. And you'll meet our local tour guide, and we'll go through the cosmopolitan city that's really just has a lot of traditions. So you'll see all the things that you're going to want to see, like Liberty Square, National Memorial Hall, all the parks. Remember, again, we're looking at gardens and architecture, right? And it is just a really interesting history here, right? Because you'll learn about the hall. It's actually dedicated to the leader who led nationalists from mainland China during the 1949 communist takeover. So you're going to get all of that really important history, but also look at the architecture that we're looking at here. So we'll make sure that you actually have also the opportunity to stop at the shrine. So you'll see that we talk a lot about temples and shrines. And remember the setting of the mountains overlooking these, just beautiful rivers and all of these gorgeous opportunities for you to take beautiful photo ops, as I like to say. So we have a moment here of where it's a little solemn because there's a reminder of the 330,000 people that lost their lives fighting for the Republic of China. So you'll have the opportunity to, make sure that you have a moment to, remember those folks at the National Revolutionary Shrine. But then also you'll have, as we kind of move out of that area of the city during our tour, the opportunity to see the famed Taipei 101 skyscraper, which was not anymore. Actually, the world's tallest building is in Dubai, the Khalifa Towers, but it was the world's tallest building from 2004 to 2009. So you'll have also that opportunity as well. Now we have optional tours here as well, where you get to, take it a little bit further, go outside. You could do a traditional tea ceremony while you're in Taipei. And again, so many other optional tours. I don't have enough time. But the tea ceremony is really interesting. And I don't have a picture of it, and I apologize of that because I've already moved us over to Nagasaki in Japan. But the tea ceremony is really interesting because you actually go to the Lin family mansion, and there's this beautiful, it's one of the greatest gardens in Taiwan, and you'll be able to walk the gardens, and then you also will see some terrific architecture, but then also have the opportunity to observe the art of Chinese tea making. And again, that's all back in Taipei. So there's, again, so many other optional tours, but of course, you'll do your included tour and then maybe consider doing something in the afternoon. Or maybe you won't do the included tour and you'll do a longer tour. Now we're going to have to, on day 5, when we're going from Taipei, China, heading over to Nagasaki, Japan, we have another sea day. So you'll get a chance to, again, take in the spa, maybe go to the library, go to the gym, learn about some amazing destination stories, and I'll share with all of you what we do on board. But we do really cool things like TED Talks, and we have a historian lecturer on board. So you'll have a really great relaxing day, eating and maybe drinking and going to the spa and learning all about this fantastic area and region of the world that you're in. But we do, on day 6, land in Nagasaki, Japan. And this is kind of where the East meets the West. It's really most notable for its delicious cuisine. So you have to think about that when you're traveling this part of the world, the delicious types of different cuisine that you're going to be eating. But it's also a city that's really resilient, and it's really centered around hope and faith, and it's an incredibly inspirational city where, like, a lot of the monuments are of like peace and optimism. So you'll take a wonderful scenic Nagasaki included tour with us, again with a local tour guide. And you'll go to Nagasaki Peace Park, which is dedicated to world peace. So imagine yourself while you're here in Nagasaki, really just taking in all of what that city is founded on. And the park is absolutely stunning. There's a beautiful large fountain, and there's tons of statues and sculptures that were donated by countries and artists around the world. And each of them in this park are, as you're seeing kind of a little picture here, are all dedicated to world harmony. So that's really going to be what the premise of this tour is centered around. And so you'll have time also here to remember all the victims of the atomic bomb in August of 1945. And so again, you're going to, have some of those somber moments, but then you'll really embrace the world peace that what this city is really centered around at this point in time. There's also a Roman Catholic cathedral that was once the largest Roman Catholic cathedral in the East. And then, of course, we're going to make sure that you see all of the other highlights in this city. And there are additional optional tours as well for you to do here. So you'll have to consult with Christy on all those fantastic options for you. Now we're headed over to another city in Japan, Kagoshima. And this is situated on a very beautiful scenic bay, as you can see in this picture in the background. And of course, we're going to include, for sure, a great city tour, again, that is locally guided by a local Viking tour guide. And what you're seeing here is also a volcano in the background, and that's Sakura Jima Volcano. And I don't know, they often say that Kagoshima is called the Naples of the Eastern world for its setting. So if that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what this cityscape looks like, and I think the picture kind of depicts it as well here. So we'll make sure that you have the opportunity to do a great city tour here. Really think of palm trees lining the streets, but then you have also the opportunity to tour the volcano. So you'll head to the hilltop and go to Shiroyama Park. And then there's just, again, these beautiful area views of the city, and you'll be able to see the volcano and then the old city castle. So honestly, that's where you'll be spending a lot of your time here in Kagoshima, and you will definitely be doing our included tour. Now, here's something interesting and could be considered a highlight of your trip here. On day 8, we go to Bapu Chimpan, which is where this is Japan's leading hot springs resort. So there's over 3,000 gushing vents in this very small area. So picture clouds of steam rising through the city streets, caused all by this underground volcanic activity. But the springs are really amazing, and they're said to boost your health and well-being, and because they have a ton of mineral content. So this is what you'll be experiencing here, and we'll have the opportunity for experts to introduce you to the springs and talk to you all about the benefits of these minerals, and probably they'll sell you some terrific skincare as well, because it's known for producing a lot of bath and skincare products. Now we have an opportunity here as well, which I really want you to think about taking. It's a 5-hour journey to Yabakei. I always say it wrong. I always want to say Kai, but it's actually Yabakei Gorge. And this gives you, it's an optional tour, so this is one that you'll pay for. So you'll actually, it's not. This is the included tour where you actually head out to one of these beautiful areas. It's a 22-mile gorge that has like jagged rock formations, caves, cliffs, and it's absolutely beautiful. It was formed like over 2 million years ago. So it's a gorgeous scenic drive out over here. And again, you'll be with a local guide, so they'll be able to share with you all the legends behind the construction of this like small tunnel that you take out to get there. And it's actually said, the tale of this tunnel, that it was dug by a monk, only using a hammer and a chisel to help worshipers reach a shrine that was built into the cliff. So eventually you're going to make your way out to the shrine. But there's several deep caves, and it's just absolutely amazing. There's over 3,700 stone Buddha statues that you'll see. And from the park at the top, you can take in these beautiful sweeping views again. So imagine while you're on this journey, all these great, gorgeous views that you're going to get from these mountaintops. And then we also do a geisha lunch as well. So you can consider doing that where you can enjoy lunch, and then there's a geisha performance. And again, the opportunity to get some terrific views through this 1,000-foot observatory. So I highly recommend this included shore excursion. Now on day 9, we're going to actually go and head to Hiroshima. And we'll be spending 2 days here in Hiroshima. So day 9 and day 10 will be in Hiroshima. So it's great because it gives you some time to really take in the city. Once at the forefront of its time, Hiroshima, it was focused around industry and education, and it grew from the 19th century to become one of Japan's most important industrial centers. But we all know what happened and the devastation of Hiroshima and the decades of long recovery time from what happened on August 6th, 1945. And so this also will be a moment where you'll take in some somber moments where you're seeing a city that basically has risen from ash. We will do a Postcards of Hiroshima included tour here, where you'll have an included tour with a tour guide, and then you'll learn all about the restoration of Hiroshima. You'll drive into the heart of the city, and then you'll also go and take a moment to stop at the view of the skeletal remains of the former Hiroshima Industrial Promotion Hall, which is now what is Hiroshima's Peace Memorial Park. So the hall has like a hollow dome. You can kind of see it here. And it is absolutely left there intentionally to show as a visual reminder of what the bomb's destruction was like. It was the only building that was really left standing close to the hypocenter of the bomb's blast. And you'll have an opportunity that you'll stop here. You'll be able to take some pictures if you like, but moreover, remember the victims of the bomb. Each of them are listed. There's 220,000 victims plus names that are inscribed in stone here. So this is something that will all be included on the Postcards of Hiroshima tour. Now, we have other options for you that, again, I want you to think about. Remember, temples, shrines. So we have a really cool Kushima Island shrine retreat that you can take. This is an optional tour because you have 2 days here where you can go out to the island, and it's tour. It's like a floating shrine, I guess you could say. You go out to the island by ferry, which is located in Hiroshima Bay. And then when you get there, you actually head out to the shrine, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and you'll be able to walk around there. It's a structure that dates back to the mid-16th century, and it's absolutely stunning. There's a dramatic 50-foot tall that red and orange gate that it's built over water, kind of giving it the illusion that it's floating in the sea during high tide. But anyhow, very hard to describe, but it is something that you're going to definitely want to experience. And it's a multiple buildings, the complex. So there's a prayer hall, a main hall, again, really giving you that feeling of history. And, this is all built because it was built to pay homage to the gods. So you'll learn all about that and get the traditions of Japan here as well. There's also another really neat tour if you are interested in gardens. There's a castle and the Shakan Garden Tour, which is a 3-hour tour where you'll go to tour Hiroshima Castle and then also see the Shrunken Scenery Garden. So this is like a very well-known garden. So if you're interested in that, you can go head out to that castle. Of course, it houses a shrine. There's a beautiful castle. There's the ruins of the defensive fortifications. So there's so much history here. And then, of course, oh my goodness, walking and taking a stroll through these beautiful garden paths with the ponds, very tranquil. There's different tea houses, and definitely something that I would highly recommend you do as an optional tour while you're here in Hiroshima. We also have dining experiences. So this is, if you're a foodie, you want to make sure you're looking into these excursions where we do the Japanese dining experience. This is the island that I was talking about earlier. And see those shrines that I was talking about in the different tea houses and how the pillars come out of the water. It's absolutely what you think of when you think of Asia and you think of Japan and architecture. So then after Hiroshima, we head over to Osaka, Japan. So we are now home. Osaka is home to two of Japan's oldest shrines. So what we're going to do is make sure that you have an included city tour of Osaka, and then you'll see the Grand Shrine, which is the Sumiyoshi. Christy, I hope you're impressed by my Japanese here. I've worked very hard at
Yes.
learning the names. Thank you. It's been, it's tough, but you can get through. You get through once you learn how they pronounce certain things. But these are 17th century shrines, right? The architecture is absolutely stunning. Again, what you think of those like vivid red beams and the columns, right? Some of it in the 3rd century was built as the guardians of the gods of sailors and the gods of prosperity. You'll see 4 sanctuaries that were built with traditional straight roofs. These are all, UNESCO World Heritage Sites, national treasures, absolutely amazing. There's also 600 stone garden lanterns. In some of the excursions, you think of those lanterns and releasing the large lanterns. You can do optional tours that you can experience that as well. But you will pay homage to these beautiful shrines. You will be seeing bamboo forests on your journey to Kyoto. It's absolutely just everything you think of when you think of Japan. Then on day 12 and 13, we are in Shimizu, Japan, and we'll have an overnight stay here as well. So take note to that, how we have these overnights, giving you that extra time to learn about these amazing historic cities, right? So what we'll include here is the stunning vistas of Shimizu, but also what do you think of when you think of this area? Mount Fuji, okay? So we have an 8-hour, and this is why we spend some extra time here, because we do an 8-hour iconic mountain and World Heritage Center tour that you can literally immerse yourself in the natural beauty of Mount Fuji, which is, of course, Japan's most sacred mountain, and of course a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So of course, weather permitting, we'll give you the views that you're looking for, hopefully not obscured by clouds, but you'll have the opportunity to really marvel at the iconic Japanese landmark of Mount Fuji. We also have all the other beautiful vistas. We'll be traveling to Nihon-dera, which is the area's elevated landscape. So you can take in, again, those sweeping views of the city and Mount Fuji. So there's an observation deck, as you can imagine, so many areas for you to go out and make sure that you're getting the best picture opportunities of it. And then we also will make sure that you take in, there's a sandy beach, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Very tranquil, beautiful, pristine shores. And again, all of this by a local tour guide. It's kind of like the Southern Alps, right? So it's absolutely beautiful and picturesque, and you're going to love this. Will be the highlight of your trip. And then we land on day 14 and 15 in Tokyo. So this is where we end our trip. Now remember, you can always do two-night extensions, pre or post extensions we have in Hong Kong or in Tokyo. So we always encourage that. But really, Tokyo is absolutely fascinating. You can imagine this is the economic heart of Japan, right? It's unbelievable where you have these beautiful sweeping views. There's a bridge called Rainbow Bridge. So we'll make sure that on your included tour that we take you over Rainbow Bridge and you see signature landmarks of Tokyo. Again, you're going to have an overnight here, so you will have time to go to the Imperial Palace. You'll have time to go to the market and walk around one of the world's largest wholesale seafood markets. You'll be able to also visit a local restaurant and learn how to make the city's signature sushi. So you'll have the opportunity for food and architecture and really, again, learning about Japan's ancient traditions. And of course, you're not going to want to miss the Bonsai Museum. So we'll do that. Now you can explore Tokyo on your own. That's an included excursion that we offer, where we'll actually take you into Tokyo. You'll actually have a pickup and a drop-off point. Of course, really taking in all the gardens and kind of seeing it independently your way, or you can do a panoramic tour that's also included, and that's where it's a fully guided tour, and we'll give you the opportunity to go with our guide and learn all about the city. It's a city that's just absolutely thriving. It's got the most beautiful skyline that's constantly changing, but yet you still have that feeling of the tranquil past. So we'll make sure we take you, if you do the guided tour with us over Rainbow Bridge, it's a 2,620 foot suspension bridge, and it's basically considered an engineering marvel. And then, of course, we'll take you to the Fuji TV building with its signature sphere-shaped observatory. You'll drive past Tokyo Tower. So we'll make sure that you see Japan's second tallest building there. And then, of course, all the other iconic stops that we'll be taking before we arrive at the Imperial Palace. And you'll have the opportunity to take a short stroll through the palace and the plaza area of the palace. And again, I like the guided tours because I feel like then you kind of you're getting that back commentary on the history of the city. We have so many other options for you as well while you're here in Tokyo, but of course we'll make sure you see the iconic. But again, this is like that kimono, the Asian women in the kimono dresses. I mean, just this is what you think of, right, Christy, when you think of Japan, Tokyo, and this architecture. So now I wanted to share with you some ideas that you can maybe take in and think about if you wanted to do some back-to-back cruising. So we have other itineraries where we do Bangkok to Hong Kong. So you can kind of like think about this, right? You can go Bangkok, Hong Kong, Tokyo, right? So you can do these combination cruises. And this is where you'd have the opportunity to do Thailand, right? Cambodia, and then you spend a lot of time in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. And then you would end basically the cruise in Hong Kong and then be able to pick up the cruise that we were just talking about, right? taking you down to Tokyo. So these are kind of ways that you can really do what we call these combination cruises. And let me tell you, Bangkok, I have to show you just some pictures. Look at how bustling this city is, right?
Mm.
It's actually set on a river. Don't get too excited because the river is actually brown and mucky and, and not that gorgeous. But again, another kind of reminds me of that picture we were looking at of Hong Kong, right? So then you'll be able to take in, one of Southeast Asia's most cosmopolitan cities. And of course, we'll do all the included tours and all that stuff. Now, also, just some more pictures if you were thinking about maybe including some Thailand. And then we have some really cool optional shore excursions. Again, think for Bangkok, there's two famous temples that you'll want to see, and also the Prasara Museum, which is something that's very, very, very important. That's part of your experience in Bangkok. But I don't want to spend too much time on this because I also want to show you Ho Chi Minh City. This is where you'll be spending a lot of time as well. I think there was 3 overnights included there as well if you wanted to do Ho Chi Minh, formerly known as Saigon, right? So you'll have that opportunity to do Vietnam. And we have some really neat experiences where you actually can go into an artist's village here in Ho Chi Minh City. It's like a very privileged access type of tour where you'll learn all the artwork and the handicrafts, and we include there's lots of shopping and stuff, but that's a pretty neat itinerary that we offer, this really very special privileged access experience where you're going into this artist village. And then, of course, we have the idea of doing something like Bangkok to Bali, right? So think of the ways you can really kind of tack on where you can go Bangkok, you can do Thailand, Singapore, and then end in Indonesia and end in Bali, right? Now, so many beautiful sights to see here while you're in Asia, and that's why I'm kind of just flipping through some pictures, because Bali's culture, oh my God, it's just absolutely so colorful and so spiritual. The island, there's actually a really neat dinner that we do here where you learn all about the traditional dance, and it's a big show that they do in Bali's bird park, which is this park basically that there have over 250 different types of bird species from Indonesia, South America, Africa, and Australia. And it's kind of like a very endangered area and conservation. But anyhow, lots to see and do again in this world. So part of the world. So what I wanted to make sure we showcased here was how you can do that by adding on, taking your trip from 15 days to 29 days or 27 days, or you can even go all the way from Hong Kong up to Vancouver. You can do Bangkok to Sydney. You can do Hong Kong to Bali, right? So talk to Christy about these combination cruises, and of course our grand voyages. If you're like, hey, I've lost some time here and I want to make sure I'm checking off the bucket list, these are ways that you can do like 37-day cruises, 79-day cruises, Sydney to Vancouver. We have 93-day cruises. So we call them our grand voyages. They're kind of part of our world cruise. Our world cruise sold out within like a month. So we have, I think, some space on our 2022 into 2023 world cruise left. And then last but not least, and I'll let you all take in the ship, and then we'll have to part our ways here. Thanks for hanging on with me this long. But there's just so much to see in this part of the world. But as I had mentioned, what we are here at Viking are leaders in small ship cruising. So here's a beautiful, beautiful rendering of our vessel. And I really kind of just wanted to come back on camera and just show my enthusiasm of the ship. And Christy's also seen the ship as well. So she knows how understated, elegant it is. We're known for, again, not having any inside staterooms, but just take a quick peek at our 3-deck atrium here and how luxurious it is, but there's no frou-frou. There's no
There
Deep
isn't.
mahogany
You're absolutely
wood.
right. I think one of the things that struck me about visiting the ship is that each area, and you can see a couple of them here in this picture on the left and the right, they're like little living rooms,
Yes, here's
right?
another picture of that. That's a
There's these
great.
conversational areas because, you, like you
Mhm.
said at the beginning, you're going to be with like-minded travelers who love to immerse themselves in these cultures and have these really robust experiences. And you're going to want to talk about them and enjoy it over a glass of wine or even sake, right? You're going to want to
Yes,
enjoy,
lots of sake.
right? You're going to want to enjoy, spending some time with not just who you came with, but the new friends you're going to make on your ship. And these spaces are like that. And it really has this understated elegance about it. I have to tell you, I've had the great pleasure of being on a lot of different ships from a lot of different cruise lines. And I want to be on this for a cruise.
Yes. And you don't have all the chaos, right? It's you don't
Yes,
have the casinos, and
right,
if that's your thing, then that's okay too. But
right.
really,
That's a
this is
different
just
vacation. That's a
like
different,
coming home to the comfort of your own home, but of course, a very luxurious one. The
yes,
Explorers Lounge is another spot on board where just
yes.
it's always
Beautiful
about the
spot.
destination.
All the windows out front. It's
Floor
gorgeous.
to ceiling windows everywhere. This is where I am right now in
Right,
the
the Winter
Winter
Garden.
Garden. More tea served here than, and you'll never be able to find the tea that you have here anywhere else. I can promise you that. My mother-in-law is continually trying to find this peach tea that she had there. We have a beautiful retractable roof,
Yes,
swimming
retractable
pool.
roof. Yep.
That's right off the Winter Garden. We have an infinity pool that's right off our Aquavit terrace where we serve our outdoor dining. Really special spots on board our vessel. The spa's
I
phenomenal.
love
It's
the
a Nordic
spas. I
spa.
love that the spa is in, not the treatments, but the spa space is open and included.
It's so stunning, and we have
Well,
the Snow
the
Grotto, which
snow
is
grotto, the heat,
you.
oh,
Yep, all about opening and closing the pores in the Nordic way of spa treatments. We have wonderful lecturers on board. We have a resident historian. We have guest lecturers. We've had astronauts on board. We have TED Talks. We have destination performances. There's classical music that floats throughout the vessel everywhere. We have a wonderful theater where we do short films. We have films that are produced by Viking, all about the destination that you're in. So you're just continually getting that enrichment, right? We have a
yes.
cooking school on board the kitchen table. We have multiple dining menus, which I'll tell you about in a moment. We have TED Talks. We have exclusive HD live performances of the Met. So if you love opera, you're going to love this vessel. We have our dining choices of like our Italian restaurant. We have our chef's table, which is like wine and food, small plate pairing. But we have the Best World Cafe, which is part of the Aquavit Terrace, our outdoor dining, where they basically there's no buffets. It's all table service, but like king crab legs, like unbelievable award-winning buffet. So now it's kind of like an open air kitchen, open concept kitchen. We have our restaurant, which is our dining, which would be like on a traditional cruise ship. Open seating, a pool grill, 24-hour room service, and just everything done in this beautiful Scandinavian design with these serene spaces. This is the lowest category stateroom, our veranda stateroom. My favorite is the penthouse veranda, and then the penthouse veranda suite, which we're looking at right here. But you can see again those light, bright, filled spaces. And I think that so complimentary, especially when you're on a cruise ship. The bathrooms all have heated floors and no fog mirrors, and they're just absolutely fabulous. Of course, we have our large explorer suites and our owner's suite, and all those really fantastic staterooms for those very special occasions. But as you can see, how just stunning these bathrooms are on board our vessel. So I hope that gave you a really good idea of what a Viking cruise experience feels like, who we are, how we travel, and also how we travel this part of the world. I don't know if you want to open it up to questions. I know this is being recorded, so Christy will have this all out there posted and ready to go for everybody to watch or pass on to a family or a friend. But Christy, I know you wanted to close with some offers and as
Yeah.
well too that you were going to share with your members and your audience here with us today.
Well, first of all, thank you. This has been a really eye-opening journey to the Orient, truly. You're right when you said there are so many options to really speak to the things that interest you on a voyage like this. There's such a great variety of optionals. So you can take the inclusive in the morning, those excursions, and then spend the rest of your time really doing the things that have brought you all the way to the other side of the world. Really, really immerse yourself in those cultures. And of course, like you said, this is a stunning ship. It really is. I've seen a lot of ships.
Yes,
It's
small
stunning.
ship cruising is the way to go.
It's the
And
way to go. And it was that way beforehand, and it's even more that way now.
yes, exactly, exactly.
So just to kind of round things out a little bit, we talked about this a little bit, but there are a lot of great reasons to work with a travel agent. Don't go it alone. I mean, you could spend hours and hours and hours, days and days, weeks and weeks and weeks trying to figure this stuff out for yourself. Just Google cruises in Japan and you'll be inundated with information. How do you know that you're getting the best information? Don't bother. Call your friendly neighborhood travel agent. That's what our expertise is for.
Yes.
We also do things that will make it a seamless, stress-free trip from the moment you hit the airport on your way out the door to the moment you get home. All the little details, whether that's flights, transfers, booking extra special excursions ahead of time. We're happy to give you advice and help make it custom tailored to you. That's one of the key things I do when I first have my early conversations with clients, is to really understand why they want to take this particular trip so that I can customize it for them. An off-the-shelf trip isn't for anybody. It's about you. And of
Exactly.
course, this past year has really proven that client advocacy that I've always done for my clients has proven excruciatingly valuable in this ever-changing landscape. You mentioned at the beginning, Shannon, about the current policies, those great risk-free guarantees, the book with confidence policies that are temporary because of the way the situation we are in the world today. Navigating that's my job, to help advise you so you make educated decisions about when and what trips to make and plan. So now what do you do? Well, you're going to dream about Mount Fuji and all these beautiful temples tonight.
Yes, and
And
these
you're going to think
gorgeous
about maybe
shrines.
picking up the phone and giving me a call about making this dream vacation a reality. For any of you who have registered for tonight, I am only too happy to extend a bit of a booking incentive. If you book any qualifying Viking cruise vacation between now and the end of April, I will offer you an up to a $250 discount from my agency. So that is a really nice little toss in, and that is combinable with what's going on with Viking right now. They've got some nice promotions going on right now. Some of them are date dependent, some of them are sailing dependent, but it's all in the mix, and that's another reason to work with an agent, so we can stack your promotions to make the benefits in your
For
favor.
sure, and you're well aware of it. Christy gets updates from me with all of the
All the time.
promotions.
I do.
Yeah. In fact, you're getting one tomorrow.
Excellent. I don't think I've had one since yesterday. This is how you get a hold of me, everybody. If you're not already on my mailing list, you will be after registering for tonight's event. But you can always call, email. You are welcome to join me on any of these social media channels. By all means, go to my website, escapeartistholidays.com. And you'll see this picture. Enter to win a $5,000 vacation getaway. We're giving away this prize in April. You have to be in it to win it. And you can use it towards any type of vacation, including a Viking Ocean cruise. If you win it. This has been one of, I think we're up to our 28th event. And they're going to keep going. But if you are interested in seeing what's coming up next, you can always go to bit.ly, We Will Travel Again events. In the coming weeks, we are going to Antarctica on an expedition cruise with her. We will also be going to Australia We'll be doing London, and I've just gotten our next guest speaker to talk about Tahiti. Very exciting stuff. So we're still spanning the globe.
Yes, I love it. Keeping the wanderlust alive.
That's
But
right.
definitely don't delay booking, or well, my new saying is don't delay booking or you're going to be at home cooking.
Oh gosh, that sounds dreadful. I'm done with that.
Exactly.
You can also see all our past events. Shannon has been a guest speaker before. We've talked about Mississippi and the Great Lakes. We've talked about European river cruising. Shannon's been a great guest of mine. I've been so happy that she was able to join us again tonight. But you can visit any of our see any of our previous videos on all different destinations around the world. We've got St. Paddy's Day coming up. So if you're interested in Ireland, I'm also an Ireland expert. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and hope you'll join us again sometime. Thank you again, Shannon, for your time.
You got it. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, everyone.
Be healthy, be well, and I hope to see you again soon. Keep traveling, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks.